Ali, thanks again for joining Raith TV so soon after your last appearance. We're here to talk about the evolution of the Player Development Fund. You've got a consultation paper ready to go and you're looking to involve the whole width of the Raith Rover support in helping to shape what that's going to become. Can you tell us a wee bit about it?
Absolutely, Davey. Okay, so the Player Development Fund was set up in 2016, and it was at that time it was set up with the concept of trying to fund the youth development of Raith Rovers. That was under Craig Easton at the time. They had initially set a target of £60,000 a year to contribute towards running the infrastructure of youth development. But since that time, I think things have really changed, both in terms of what the club is able to support and also what Scottish football's done, considering the development leagues have now been replaced by reserve leagues. Whether reserve leagues can continue is up for debate at the moment. At its peak, the Player Development Fund managed to attract about 105 contributors, about £18,000 a year, which is hugely important. Every pound and every penny that comes into Raith Rovers is hugely important to us. However, as you can tell, it's well short of the intended target of £60,000. Currently, it's running at about £14,000, and over the past 6 months or so, we've done a couple of consultations with the Raith Forum, who's the conglomeration of the supporters groups together, and also the Player Development Fund contributors as they stand at the moment, and there's around 75 of them at the moment. Okay, so we've spoken to, or we've been in contact with all these people. We've tried to come up with their ideas of what could we change this to, what would be a wider supported type of arrangement to help Raith Rovers. So what we're now proposing is we go out to, it's now the consensus concept that we've come up with, and we're taking that to the wider support to say, what do you think of this? Is this something that we think we can get wider support on overall to help Raith Rovers?
The big change from reading the consultation paper, and we'll explain to people as the interview goes on, and certainly there will be an article linked to this with all the details. The big difference here is that we're looking at something that's going to directly finance, fund and support John McGlynn and his work.
Right, David. So you're totally correct what you're saying. What we found in is, previously it was specifically for youth players. Well, just the way that we are now set up, our youth players are actually integrated into our first team setup effectively. So there is no separate youth setup any longer. We've got players like Dylan Tate, Kieran Bow, who are more on apprentices. They'll be part of John McGlynn's first team squad. We've had players like Jamie Watson coming through, David Mackay coming through the system as well. So they're all part of the first team setup. What we're now proposing is that there's an appetite to support John McGlynn and John McGlynn's first team budget, as well as separately trying to fund modern apprentices. So as I say, we've got 2 at the moment. We've got a club objective of getting 3 this year. We're going to need some additional help to do that, some of the finances, because as per the AGM and the Q&A last week that we spoke about, money is very tight at the club. So we're trying to do as best as we can with the resources we've got. And all we're trying to do here with the Player Development Fund is go back to the fan base and say, do you have an appetite to help us any further with supporting this on a regular basis?
Has there been any discussion about how any money that comes in will be distributed, how it will be separated, how it will be mixed across percentage rates?
So what we've gone with is, initially we'd had some discussion with the forum about what do we think would be best supported. Come up with 60-40, so 60 to the first team and 40 to the youth side. Based on the target number that we're looking for, it would allow us to get the fully funded 3 modern apprentices, and the rest would go towards the trying to supplement the first team budget that we're giving John McGlynn. I'm open to feedback on 60-40, but I do think that's a fair split, because it allows us to cover for that third modern apprentice that we're seeking. We haven't yet identified the person. We've got some prospects. Wonder if we can get that third person in.
There's obviously a real energy round about the club as as fans leave at the end of the season. The business, probably behind the closed doors, kind of reaches fever pitch. Why is there such an urgency just now?
Well, Dave, I didn't think it's so much of an urgency. What I think is the time is now. Okay, so the Player Development Fund in its current format has been running for several years. At some point, we felt it needed to change, and that's the feedback that we've received as well. So, believe it or not, the summer period or the pre-season period is actually the busiest time at a football club. So we need to try and get our best targets now, because that's other clubs are going through and trying to identify who they need. I'm looking to try and give John a best start as possible to try and get us to League One. So that's why it's now.
Ali, this model is utilised across Scotland with some really great success stories. what are the targets for Raith Rovers? How many fans are you looking to reach out to?
Okay, so as I say, we're going to a wider consultation, so it's going to take in, you know, a large number of people that we're looking for views on. In terms of actual financial targets, we're looking at initially £44,000 for this season, which does sound like a leap. We're at 14,000 on a run rate basis. However, I feel reasonably confident that we can get to around the 180 200 subscriber rate that would allow us to hit that target. We've set the initial monthly amount of £10 to contribute, and we feel that that's a reasonably achievable number to do. I'm looking at other clubs around the country, and I can see with some envy what they're bringing in, and I'm just really, I'm really hopeful that we can hit our target.
Ali, there's one question I'm really keen to ask, and that's how do you address the people who might say, I contributed in the past, but I feel that our best talent left the club and we didn't get the financial rewards that went alongside that, or possibly, not the players who played 200-300 games or whatever and stick with Raith Rovers for years. How's this going to be different?
Okay, that's a fair question, Dave, because I've been one of those contributors myself, so I understand exactly the point that people have. What we're saying now is that this is an opportunity to directly invest towards the first team, and also we're putting money aside for the modern apprentices who can still make their way into the first team. There is a pathway there for them. This is really about investing for today. I mean, the prior fund was actually more about looking forward into the future, about who could come through and get into the first team, on an en masse basis. That model was very difficult to try and look after. So what we're doing now is trying to give John McGlynn as much chance in the transfer window and attract the best players to get us out of League One, which is really our big priority, whilst we can also try and get the best local talent to join us in the first team as well. So I think it's the best of both worlds is really what we're looking for.
Ali, talk us through a bit of a summary then. How do we get from the point of doing this interview through to the point where I'm filling out a standing order with Raith Rovers written on it?
Okay, so the website and the social media channels will have the consultation paper on it from Tuesday, and we're opening that consultation for a week. What I'd ask is the fans to take that week to give us a feedback, and please just give us the feedback the one time, even though it may be on various different channels, so we can get the best view, the most honest view of how this may look. We're going to leave that open for a week, and then heading into the June month we'll be looking, based on what that feedback is, to launch something with an aim to try to start that from July. Why is it starting now? Because this is a transfer window, and this is where the best chance is to build your team going into the new season. So what better chance have we got to try and give John the biggest boost possible going into a really difficult League One campaign that we hope to come out on top of.